Good evening. Hello, this is Iyabo. So, I was talking to a group of women this morning about purpose, and it was in a church context. It had to do with a women's retreat at a church. And I had a lovely time with those precious ladies, but someone asked me a question afterwards that really brought home something that's been on my mind. I was getting ready to work on my weekly newsletter, which you can subscribe to at coachiyabo.com. And this woman asked me as she figured out her purpose. She's a woman of faith, and she said, I feel like I am called to pray for other people, but I'm so overwhelmed by the negative feelings I'm having that I can't even pray. And she felt overwhelmed by Hurricane Irma's imminent approach. She felt overwhelmed by the DACA situation. She felt overwhelmed by all of these things that are swirling around us and creating turmoil in our minds and hearts. And I had to ask her what she really felt her definition of prayer was. And so for some, prayer is something's wrong and we can pray and make it right. And I reminded her what prayer actually is, which is that prayer is standing in the midst of the unknown and speaking forth what it is that could possibly be. Standing in the midst of the unknown and speaking forth the possibility of what it could be. Envisioning a new possibility and asking for that new possibility. Hello, sis. So I think that it's really important to be very clear on what it is you're called to do and get real clear on the definition of what you're called to do. Because for her, she did not even understand that her angst about the situation going on everywhere on the planet was speaking specifically to her purpose. And because she didn't understand that this was speaking specifically to her purpose, she then disengaged from what her purpose was, which was to pray. And for those of you that are joining, I'm talking about purpose. And a woman I had a conversation with this morning who said she feels her purpose is to pray for others, but she's feeling so overwhelmed by the weather reports, by Houston, by Irma, by DACA, and she can't even gather up momentum to pray. And I had to remind her what prayer was, which is speaking into existence what is not yet, and also creating access points. You know, it's not bridging a gap necessarily, it's speaking the truth that you want to see happen. And so in reminding her about her purpose, she revisited what her concept of prayer was. And so it's the same thing I want all of us to do. All of us have gifts. All of us are tortured by the pictures of Houston, by potentially what Irma could do. But I think our biggest thing that we could do for those of us that are not directly impacted by the storm is hold space for those that are impacted by it. So what does that look like? What that looks like to hold space is to send goodwill. And you send goodwill by your thoughts, your emotions, praying for safety, making yourself accessible. If you have a sofa, floor space, you know people, checking on them. You hold space by holding this intention of safety and goodness. And here's another thing we must remember. Yes, some people will lose their lives in when Mother Nature gets like this. There's disaster, there is devastation, I know people that have lost everything as a result of the Houston floods. But it's not the last chapter. The last chapter has not been written. Everybody's life faces devastation. Everybody, every single human being under the sound of my voice has gone through a challenge and a hard time. And we don't allow challenges to define us. What defines us is our capacity to triumph. And so if you're not directly affected by what's going on, my invitation to you is to extend your triumph to those that are impacted right now. So what that looks like is giving money to relief agencies, sending good thoughts, doing something as, finding creative ways to be supportive and kind, opening up your home. You can go on and pay for a hotel room for someone. You can give resources where you have, Challenges don't define us. That's right, Ms. Lamodi. So I think it's so important for us to know we're not helpless. Even when Irma is coming, we're not helpless. Even if we have a little flood, this happens, that happens, we're not helpless. It may hurt for a moment, but in the long run, we're not helpless. So my encouragement to you with this video is to find a unique way that speaks to you as to how you can help a situation that you're far away from. And for those of you that are directly impacted, my prayer is that you will find safety in the eye of the storm, that you will know that the storm does not define you, that you will know you have value and you have purpose regardless of the swirling, chaotic nature of the storm. And my prayer today, I think of my friend Jeanette Moore, who wrote a book on Pray Raining. I think the name of the book is called Pray Rain Journal. And she looks at Native Americans and how they pray rain, right? They don't pray for rain. What they do is in the moment of the prayer, the shamans would stand there and imagine the rain dripping down their bodies. And that's how they would call forth the rain. And for those of us that have that capacity, my prayer is that we will call forth peace. We will call forth goodness. We will call forth order by embodying it, by experiencing it, and offering out a hand to those in need. I hope this has been an encouragement to you. If you feel stuck in your feelings like that, or if you're still trying to refine purpose and discover aspects of yourself, I invite you to reach out and find me. Thank you so much. Bless you. Bye-bye.